Hey everybody, Elliot here from Movie Foul, sharing with you all my spoiler-free review for the film Venom. Now, is this film as bad as critics are making it out to be? Is this the worst comic book movie of all time? Well, guys, I am going to share with you all what I thought of the film Venom. So let's jump right into this movie review.
The way I see it, we can do whatever we want.
Is there something you want to tell me?
Nope.
Alright guys, so like I said, spoiler-free talk here. I'm just gonna touch a little bit on the positives, the negatives, and then give you guys a score of what I thought of this film. So before I actually get into my positives, I want to give you a little disclaimer as far as where I stand as a Venom fan, as well as my expectations going into this early screener that I got on Wednesday. So as far as Venom goes, I'm not too familiar with the comic book elements, the story arcs that we get with Venom. I'm more familiar with him from the 90s animated series, as well as his small dose of what we got in Spider-Man 3. So to say I'm a huge hardcore fan would not be true. As far as going into this film, expectations, speaking about the expectations, the trailers were okay. They weren't the greatest. I would say that the clip that we got last week was probably the best promotional pieces that we gotten that I liked from this film. So as far as going into the screener Wednesday night, seeing the reviews, not thinking that the trailers are the best, my bar for this film was pretty low. So with that, jumping into my positives of this movie, a lot of people have said it already, so I'm just repeating what they have said, and I totally agree with them. The best part, the highlight of this film, is Tom Hardy. His portrayal as Eddie Brock, this reporter who kind of, breaks the news and doesn't care what people say. He speaks his mind, as well as seeing his elements outside of that journalist, seeing his relationship with Michelle Williams and kind of that dynamic. I kind of like what Tom Hardy brought to Eddie Brock. And then switching over to Venom, him playing Venom, I thought the comedy worked. I thought the visual design of Venom and then their banter back and forth was the best part of the entire movie, which should have been, because this is what we came to see was Venom, and I thought that the portrayal of Venom was really great. This film is probably about an hour and 40 minutes tops. And it goes by pretty quickly, guys, which I love. A nice action film that just goes at a really quick pace, and it doesn't feel... I was never in this movie. I was never sitting there bored. I was thoroughly entertained as far as what we got on the screen throughout this, hour and 40 minutes that we got with this film. As far as other things that I liked, the film, once we kind of get into gear it's kind of in the back half of the first and definitely in the second and third act, we get the full Venom. Eddie Brock meets Venom, and that's really where the film kind of takes, really kind of takes off. The first act kind of you get to meet the characters, kind of develop the science behind the Venom, and I thought really, like I said, the second act and the third are really where the film picks up, and you get the jokes, you get the action sequences, which I think, again, that clip that we see Venom versus the police officer was probably the best action sequence that we got in the film. So again, I thought that most of the film, most of the jokes landed. Again, Eddie Brock, aka Venom, I thought that relationship worked really well, and really those were really the best parts of the film for me as far as Venom goes. Alright guys, so jumping into my negatives, there's a lot that has been said about this film, a lot that I agree with, a lot that I don't agree with, but as far as my cons, again, I was really excited about the talent behind this film. Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams, Riz Ahmed, all great performers. And unfortunately, 2 out of the 3 performances, the leads of this film, wasn't given them much to do. Michelle Williams is a well-known actress who has great performances across the board. And as Annie, Eddie Brock's girlfriend in this film, or her love interest, She's given some things, she has this one particular moment in the movie that's really awesome, especially for those Venom fans. But then the rest of the film just kind of, she's just there. And same goes with, unfortunately, Riz Ahmed's character as Carlton Drake, I believe his name is, kind of reminded me of kind of a less toned down version of Lex Luthor in BVS. He's this young scientist who finds these Venom suits and wants to kind of use them to kind of help the world. He really came off as just one-dimensional, didn't really have much to do, as well as like Michelle Williams' character, and was just kind of boring, to be honest with you guys, which is unfortunate because, again, they're two great performers. Now, as far as the science behind this film, there really wasn't that much explained about how did Drake find these symbiotes, what planet are they from, how is it that these symbiote finds its host and what makes him a perfect host. That part of the movie really wasn't explained well. I feel like that was maybe left on the cutting room floor as far as explaining the film, and I thought that the science behind it really didn't make that much sense. The actual script of the film, unfortunately, is a weak part of the movie. If you're going to have a movie with a villain that's known for being in the Spider-Man universe and not have Spider-Man being in this universe, you have to have a kick-ass script. And unfortunately, the script is very plain, very plain, very bland. It's very generic. Again, this film moves pretty quickly, but again, there's really not a lot that shines out of the script, which is unfortunate. Again, if you're going to have this movie without Spider-Man, you need to have one of the best scripts out there. And unfortunately, it's a weak part of this movie. The whole debate as far as PG-13 versus rated R, there are moments where this film could have went rated R. Obviously, you have Venom who's biting people's heads off and ripping people apart at some points, and you don't see any blood, you don't see anything. I thought that this film would have benefited from that, which also goes into the tone of this film. There are moments where the film tries to get serious, but it's kind of the levity of the scene kind of just taken away because of the comedic moments that we see either before that moment or actually in the moment, which kind of causes a little bit of pacing issues. There's some weird edits in this film. And also, too, as far as just kind of the CGI, most of it works, but that third act where we see Venom versus Riot, who's another character I'm going to touch on a little bit, that fight was just a CGI mess. On to Riot, we don't really know that much about him. He's really not in the film that much, which is unfortunate because he's the main villain in this film, and you really don't know what he's about or where he comes from. So that was unfortunate. So I can go on and on and on about the negatives, guys, but overall, I think for me, being a casual Venom fan, I was entertained for the most part. I really enjoyed the performance that we got from Tom Hardy. There are some really funny moments in the film. There are some cool action sequences, which leads to me, I'm going to give this film a 3 out of 5, guys. Again, I had some fun with the film. I don't think it's Daredevil, early 2000 Daredevil. I don't think it's Catwoman. I don't think it's any of the Fantastic Fours. I enjoyed this film, and I will say stick around. There are 2 post-credit scenes. I won't get into what they are. One kind of involves more of where this film can go if they do make a sequel, if they get the opportunity to, and then the other one is just kind of the universe as a whole as far as Sony goes. So definitely stick around for those 2 post-credit scenes. So all in all, 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5 for me. I'm not a diehard fan, so as a casual fan, I enjoyed Venom. Now, speaking to the people that are maybe diehard fans, this might not be the film for you, but I still recommend checking it out and make your own opinion about it, guys. So there you have it. I gave this a 3 out of 5. Definitely check it out if you're into superhero films, action films in general. I think it's worth the price of admission. So there you have it, guys. If you like this review, definitely give it a thumbs up. Share this review as well as comment below. Once you've seen the film, without giving away any spoilers, let me know what you thought of this Venom movie and if you want to see more from Venom. So as we always do, guys, definitely check out our other content. We appreciate you watching this review, and I'm excited to see you guys on our next video, which will be Bad Times at the El Royale and some other stuff coming later down the pipeline. So definitely keep an eye out for those reviews, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Alright, guys, thanks for sticking around towards the end of this video. Definitely subscribe to our channel. Check out our other movie reviews. First Man, A Star is Born. Definitely check out those reviews, and we'll see you guys on the next video.